Summit Ergoversary, 4 years with Ergo. I'm QX, and I'm going to be going over a short video with you on how to set up a full manual node with Ergo. If you're new to this and you're wondering what a node is, essentially it's a part of the Ergo network that's a peer-to-peer network for verifying blocks by syncing the entire blockchain and creating consensus among all the nodes. So what's the benefit of that? So let's say there was a blockchain that exists where there were only a couple nodes. Now, if one of the nodes did something fishy, or two or three of the nodes did something fishy, most likely the fourth node would say, okay, that looks good, let's do it. Well, you distribute the nodes, and you have hundreds and thousands upon thousands of nodes distributed across the entire world, where internets may be blocked from certain peers to certain peers, but you have access to these local nodes inside of that network that can then get out and talk to the other nodes. You have a better method for consensus. So now if one or two nodes decide to get funky and maybe get hacked or try to insert its own block that may be a false block, it's not going to reach consensus because the other nodes will say, that doesn't look right, we're going to not accept that, and you have a much larger picture of more distributed nodes, so that it reduces the risk of that kind of thing. So let's move on, and I'll show you how absolutely easy and mind-numbingly easy this is. So here we are on Ergo platform and the blog post from 2019 on how to set up a full Ergo node. It tells us some of our prerequisites. We're going to hope and imagine you have at least Java 8 installed. If you're on a Linux machine, you can go Java version, and it shows you that I have OpenJDK 11 installed on that, which is perfectly fine. So first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to download the Ergo client release jar. And if you notice, this was out 2 weeks ago, I believe. Let's see. Yeah, 2 weeks ago. And it's version 5.012. It actually enables snapshots, which is an entirely different set of topics to talk about, which are absolutely amazing. Essentially, what snapshots do is it allows somebody to get a node running from 0 to 100, or not 100, but 0 to functional within about 20 minutes, as opposed to a 24 plus 30-hour node full sync on Ergo. So it's a really cool tech that they've come out with. I suggest that you read up on it if you're interested. So we're going to download the Ergo jar, which is about 76.2 megabytes, very fast install. And we'll go back to the web page that explains what to do. So we will go into our documents folder, and we're going to create a new folder and call it Ergo node. Ergo nope. That's funny. We're going to go to the downloads folder that we just put the Ergo jar in. And we then go back to our terminal in Ubuntu, and we need to see where we are. So we are outside of the documents folder. CD into documents, where we see the Ergo node. We're going to CD into the Ergo node. And now we see that we have the Ergo 5.02 jar. Do not run it at this point. We still need a configuration file within it. And they've given us a nice default config file. So we're going to copy this. We're going to open up like TextEdit, Notepad, whatever is your thing of choice. We're going to paste it in there. The default should work since we're actually pointing towards a config file. And it wants us to name it ergo.conf. You don't have to, since we have the power to point to whatever we want to there. You can name it whatever, but we're just going to go ahead with the flow. We're going to put it in the Ergo node folder along with the other file, the jar file that we have. And let's go take a look at that now. So there we go. We have the jar file and the conf file. So now we can take this code and we can go to the terminal, and before we run it, we have to make sure that we reference the right. So ergo-5.0.12.jar that matches this guy up here, which is we're pointing to. We're telling it that it's mainnet, and we're attaching a config file to the command, which is ergo-conf. If your ergo-conf file lives somewhere else and not in the same directory as the ergo node, then you should reference the entire full path to it. But it's, of course, easier just to do that. So here we go. Let's hit enter. Okay, it's booting up. It is starting to look for other peers in a second. It's probably going to be rejected by some, or can't connect to some of them just by chance. Yep, and in about maybe 10 seconds, oh, sooner than that, I find some, and it starts grabbing the headers. So now that this is running, we can look at these instructions, and it's telling us that we can further and go further into the node running and actually create a password to protect the API calls so that people can use to access this node if it is open to the internet. So if you look, we have 127.0.0.1. That is a local loopback address. So essentially, whenever I type that into the browser, it doesn't go out to the internet. It looks at your machine internally and tries to go to whatever port's being specified or whatever address just on your machine. So if you try this address somewhere outside of your network, it's not going to work, because it's probably going to be, what it does, it's going to be looking at your phone. If you could try to run this from your phone, this address, to reach this, it's going to be just looking at your internal phone address and not going to do anything. So watch what happens. We're going to click on it. Oh, I shouldn't have done that. Let me back up a little bit. I want a new tab. So let's control click on this, and we'll create a new tab. And so this is literally the Ergo API from a node running on your machine already. And of course, there's no real data yet being, syncing down, because we're still, in the infancy of getting all the data from here. So we're not going to be able to run many commands on here until it's fully synced. But for now, Ergo is suggesting that we create an actual hash of a password. So we do that by going there, and let's go down, and we can hit try it out with a code. We can type in hi Ergo, and this is a simple password. Please come up with something a little complex. We're going to execute. We're going to scroll down, and you're going to see that this code changed right here if everything was correct. We're going to copy that, and we are going to go to our Ergo config file. And for right now, I'm just going to set this in here, just setting it there. Okay, so I have it in the copy paste. And if we look down, we see that we can use this code to let the node know that we have a key hash, API key hash. So we'll copy it. You'll see how Ergo open bracket, close bracket right there. This actually goes outside of that. So it's a whole nother of its own set of open close brackets. So let's go here. We'll put one enter there. We'll paste, and you'll see how the words hello for their default is different than our hi Ergo. You can see I'm pasting and redoing. There we go. So now that it's saved, I'm going to close it, and it suggests to restart the node. And how do we do that? We go to the node in the terminal, and we Control C, and we wait, and you'll see it does everything. It's not wise just to absolutely force quit this or anything like that. You should, stop it nicely. I've heard some, maybe it's just with Explorer, but it's better to stop it nicely. So we run the command again to start it back up. We wait for it to start. And it's saying there's no wallet secret storage because we don't have one written, of course. And once it's started, that should be started enough. We're going to go to the panel. So you'll see that it's very similar to the loopback address, port, Swagger, and loopback address, port, panel. So this is just a different endpoint for this. And you'll see that we have active synchronization. We don't have any further details because, oh, there we go, popped up, syncing headers, but we're missing some more details here because we have not put in our API key to access that. So let's hit set API key, and hi Ergo was our test. You don't have to put that long string that you just saw. We're putting the plain text password in. there we go. So it shows us our wallet information, which is not initialized yet. The wallet is locked, and there's active synchronization on it, and 0 ERG, of course. So let's go ahead and initialize the wallet. So there are some instructions here on how to do that. I am just going to go through it and explain to you as we go through. So here we go. Initialize wallet. We are going to enter wallet password. And we're going to enter a mnemonic password. And we're going to hit send. So this is going to run the command to actually initialize the wallet. And I'll explain the difference between these two in a second. Takes a second. And that is it. Okay, now stop. You need to save this. This is your 15-word seed phrase. And we're done after this. Don't fill this in again. Just hit close. It has successfully initialized the wallet. That has given us our 15-digit seed phrase. And it has recorded the wallet password and the mnemonic password. Now let me explain the difference between those two. The wallet password is essentially your spending password, just like you're spending in Nautilus. It comes up with a password, you type it in, you spend it, great, wallet password. Mnemonic password is actually something different. That is, think of it as a 16th word on this 15-word phrase that actually is used to generate your actual private key, okay? So what does that mean? It actually allows for a cool feature called a decoy wallet. And this idea was brought up by Satirgo Mutoshi a while back. So what it does is, let's say you have your 15-word phrase somewhere, okay? And somebody comes across it. They open it up, they see a few ERG in it, they take the ERG, they're done. They move on, they stop hacking you because that's what they see. They see your passphrase, they see your 15-digit phrase, they use it, they pull a couple ERG out of it, they're good. That was your decoy wallet. That was you restoring your wallet with only these 15 words. If you restore a wallet in another node or in Satirgo's wallet, which allows for a mnemonic password entry, you have a totally separate wallet address, okay? Because it is creating your private key with 15 plus your mnemonic password. So all you have to do is write down your 15-word phrase, store it as securely as you can, but in the instance that somebody steals it or gets a hold of it, you still have that 16th word saved in your head that is your typical password that you would use, that you probably should save somewhere else, of course, but that's it. So you can restore this to a decoy wallet, just the 15 words, and then you can have maybe another wallet somewhere saved with your full mnemonic password that you fill with other things with, or it just sits there and it's your store. So that was kind of a cool feature with a mnemonic password that you can use. So that's created, and we go back here, and you can see that the wallet is now unlocked. It's initialized. There's no assets in it. 0 ERG. We're syncing. Let's go to the wallet on the left. And here we go. We can hit more. We can see the address. We can send payments. And we can even issue tokens right from the node here. So many cool things you can do with the node. Here's an example of a raw API call. We're calling, this is one of the other nodes that I have. We're essentially asking the blockchain node to give us this information from this token by the token ID, and it's showing us that it is a let's see, it's a CyberPet, a golden robotic back. I think it's a turtle. Yeah, it's a turtle right there. So if you're writing a small app or a program and you need to do API calls, you need to do it fast, and you don't want to rely on the central node for that, then you essentially run your own node and you're good to go with speed. You can also take that, and let me show you. If you open your ports, you can add, one moment, you can add your node to your Ergo mobile wallet, which helps increase lookups and things like that. If you're using your own node and it's like in your own house, I suggest that if you're running a node, you can come and make sure that it's reachable by using the Ergo nodes list right here. And if you look, you need to open up port 9030 in your router. If you don't know how to do that, just look up how to port forward something from outside to inside your router using 9030. And if you want to use your wallet, your Ergo Mobile wallet with your own node, then if you look back here, remember that port, that's port 93. So essentially port forward ports 9030 and port 9053 to your node, and you'll be able to reach it with the wallet from the outside, and you'll also be able to, with port 9030, allow other nodes to look in and sync from your node and see it, as opposed to just you reading other people's nodes. Otherwise, it doesn't do much good if you're just reading that state from there. That's it. If you have any questions, please feel free to stop by the Ergo Telegram chat or the Ergo Discord chat or Satergo chat so you can talk about the nodes. And if you want a simpler version of a node running, we're going to do a video in the summit as well on the Satergo full node wallet for desktop. Fantastic video. Thanks so much for watching, and happy Ergoversary, 4 years Ergo.